You are a multi-dimensional, multi-purpose being. Most people have no idea how powerful, how incredible they really are. And maybe you've seen some glimpses of your power, your potential in your meditations, in your visions, in your dreams. But I think most people are barely scratching the surface of what they are capable of. And in this video, I just want to share with you some of the things the ways that you can expand, some of the things that I have seen, and it's going to blow your mind. And I came from a very logical, scientific kind of background. I love physics. I didn't believe in energy or angels or aliens or God or anything like that. I was very left-brained. And then I started having these experiences. I had this big awakening and I started seeing visions. I started getting these downloads. I started tapping into these things that I just didn't think were possible. I thought it was science fiction. But then researching it, really going into it, and now learned that it's science fact. So just all I invite you is keep an open mind. I'm going to share with you some things that I really have experienced to be true. And hopefully this will help you to tap into some ways you can be even more powerful. I believe and I've experienced that we are all connected. There's this thing called the quantum web. So if you love quantum mechanics, if you're deep into quantum physics, you'll know this. There's this web that connects everyone and everything, and this has been proven. So every particle in my body is connected to every other particle in the entire universe via this quantum web. So that means right now, every particle in your body is connected to every particle in the entire universe, connected to me, connected to everyone in Australia, everyone in America, every tree. You're connected to everything. Why is this important? This is important because we are multi-purpose beings. Everything you shift inside yourself shifts for the whole world. That work you are doing is so important. Don't take it lightly. You are so important. Every little shift you have shifts the entire universe. It really is that powerful. But not just our universe, it shifts it across all universes, all dimensions, all parallel universes, across all planes of reality. Luke, what are you talking about? What are all of these things? So this is where it might start to sound a bit science fiction-y, but just hear this out. I talk about this a lot in my book. Most physicists believe that there is just one moment. Time doesn't really exist in the way that we think it does. There's just this one moment, this now moment. And everything that ever has happened or everything that ever will happen is happening in this one now moment. And a lot of people think about time as going from like the beginning of time to the end of time, but the way that quantum physicists understand it is that every moment is just kind of stacked on top of each other, but just in a different place. So right now there are an infinite numbers of versions of me and an infinite number of versions of you, and they span across all different time frames, all different dimensions. Now this might be a lot for your brain to try and understand, so don't try and understand this logically. Try and feel this. Feel if there's a resonance in this for you. What does this mean? It means that everything that's ever happened to you in your past is still happening right now in this moment. Everything that's ever gonna happen in your future has already happened. You can tap into these things from your past. You can tap into these things in your future. You can tap into these other versions of you. There's a version of you right now that's probably president. There's a version of you right now that's probably a gardener. There's a version of you probably right now that's every way in between you can possibly imagine. And you can tap into all of these in your quiet moments. If you just breathe deeply into your body and ask to be shown these different versions of you. Ask to be shown whatever you want to see, and you'll see it very clearly, just like a movie. And with practice, your imagination will become so great, you'll be able to feel it as if you're there right now. When you do this, you'll see the visions aren't imagined. It's too real. It's just like being in a movie. You can see and hear and feel and taste and touch everything as if it's happening right now. It's crazy. So I call it quantum jumping. I believe you can jump into these different timelines, jump into these different dimensions, see how that version of you is living, feel how that version of you is living, learn the lessons that they have made. Because when you make a choice in those moments, another version of you goes and lives a different choice. So there's a version of you that chose to watch this video and there's a version of you that didn't. They're going to have a completely different day. They're going to have a completely different life. Their whole rest of their life will be different because of that choice that you made. It's mind-boggling, right? Don't get too caught up in thinking about it like this. What's important is how can we use this to make your life even more amazing? So quantum jumping is one way. I have a version of me that has, when I jump into his future, he has this huge global empire. He's a massive CEO of some monstrous organization, like incredibly big. Monstrous, that's an interesting word. Monstrous, really big. And when I want business advice, I can go and I can connect to his energy. I can see how would that version of me handle this, because I'm really growing my business empire, right? You know, I've been in business for a little while really, and I'm just getting started, and we have access to all of this stuff. So think about a situation in your life right now that you would love some advice on. Breathe deep into your body and connect. And ask to be shown the version of you that has already mastered this thing. There's a version of you that's mastered courage. There's a version of you that's mastered business. There's a version of you that's mastered singing. There's a version of you that is super fun and lives in joy all the time. There's a version of you that's an incredible, gifted, fill in the blank, whatever you want. You can go and access this. It's powerful. What else can we do? We have guidance. We have these guides. I've seen it. You can call it your highest self. You can call it God. You can definitely tap into that infinite source of energy, infinite source of information. But we also have these different guides around us. We have our ancestors. Some people call them your spirit guides. You're not alone. You see, the visible light that humans can see is less than 1% of the electromagnetic spectrum. What does that mean? It means that most of what is going on around you right now, you can't see. Most of what's going on around you now, you can't hear. We can only hear a very small part of what's going on around us. Most of what's going on around you right now, you can't feel. So again, if you just close your eyes, just try and imagine all the energies that could be going on around you right now. You might be able to see all the Wi-Fi signals. You might be able to perceive different beings. Dogs and young children and very gifted people, they can perceive more, they can hear more, they can see more, they can feel more. Maybe if you're watching this, you might be one of those people who can really feel what other people feel. When you might be able to feel things very, very deeply. There's so much more going on in this world than we possibly imagine. And I just want this video just to open you and expand you to these possibilities. Try connecting with your guides. Just take a deep breath in and out, and ask one of your guides to come to you. Ask one of your ancestors to come to you. Imagine you can see them in front of you. Imagine you can speak to them, have a full conversation, ask them a question. You'll see you can get very great answers. Trust that there is more. Whatever you believe your reality is, that's exactly what you create. You are a multi-dimensional, multi-purpose being. You are infinitely powerful. You are omnipotent, omnipresent, omniscient. Expand, feel it. If you like this, if this excites you, I'm going to make a lot more videos about this. Subscribe to my channel. I'd love to know your thoughts, feelings on how powerful you are. Post below, let me know, comment. Do you agree? Do you feel your multi-dimensional capabilities? Are you already tapping into this? Do you know one of your purposes? Have you got many purposes? Does this resonate with you? I'd love to know your thoughts, feelings, and if there's any videos you'd like me to make, do comment that below as well. I'd love to open this up to you. Like, I'm here as a channel, I'm here as a vessel, I'm just here to serve. So let me know how I can serve you, and I'd love to get to know you all better. Hopefully we can connect, whether physically or online in some way. You can check out all my social medias. You can check out my book. There's so many different ways we can connect. Hopefully you can come to some of our events, our retreats all around the world. Yeah, I believe we have these things called soul families. So we have our soul families. We all have agreed before we come here, because time doesn't really exist, right? We've all agreed to meet up in this lifetime, to play together, to find each other. And there's so much joy in the finding of it. So yeah, I really look forward. If you feel resonance with this, I really look forward to connecting with you in some way, if we're supposed to meet. Beautiful. Have an amazing day, an amazing life, being your powerful, multi-dimensional self.